Unlock miraculous divine healing, 40 days of supernatural regeneration and toxin release revealed in the heart of a bustling English community. Within the warm embrace of the local Catholic Church, whispers of the miraculous began to swirl. Unlock miraculous divine healing. They cried, as though the very air was charged with the promise of the impossible. For Sarah, a devoted wife and mother, this was not merely a catchy phrase, it was her lifeline. With 2 young children and a terminally ill husband, James, her once bright world was now shadowed by illness and despair. But nestled among the flickering candles and the gentle echoes of prayer, Sarah found a glimmer of hope that flickered as fiercely as the flames around her. As she knelt in the sanctuary, her heart cried out to St. Jude, seeking a miracle not just for James, but for the whole family. The soft rustle of prayer enveloped her, wrapping her in strength. Suddenly, just as she surrendered her deepest fears, Father Michael, with eyes twinkling like stars, approached. "A divine journey awaits you, my dear Sarah," he proclaimed boldly, wrapping her in a warm, reassuring presence. "Miraculous healing is imminent, but it requires a trial of 40-day detoxification of body and spirit. Are you ready?" The call swept through the congregation like a spark igniting dry grass. They began to rally, everyone vulnerable and disarming in their struggles. Tales of illness and heartache intertwined, creating a tapestry of shared burdens and strengthened faith. Their kitchens brimmed with nourishing meals, while laughter mingled with tears as they forged connections, each step taken towards healing a collective act of love. Faith felt palpable, alive. But as the day faded and the shadows deepened, the burdens grew heavier. James experienced an illness flare-up, casting a deep gloom over their shared hope. The community felt the shift, a wave of doubt creeping in. Fear sliced through their collective prayer like a sharp knife. Would they possess enough faith to unlock the miracles they desperately sought? Perhaps, just perhaps, even miracles came with a price. In the echo of those silent moments, Sarah's heart ignited with determination. Father Michael encouraged them all, urging her to dig deeper into prayer. "When waves of doubt and despair crash upon your shore," he said, "look up. There is power in your voice." So they gathered once more in the sanctuary, united in a fervor of expectant belief. Everyone lit candles, each flame flickering with whispered prayers, their souls igniting like stars in the night. Then, without warning, the air thickened with divine anticipation. It was as if the very walls of the church held their breath. A mysterious light burst forth from the candles, illuminating shadows that had loomed for too long. Gasps of wonder fluttered like leaves swept up by a gentle breeze. The energy of disbelief and newfound hope collided, igniting a glow that transformed the sanctuary. They stood in awe, hearts trembling with joy and reverence. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the congregation brushed against hope, Sarah remained fixed on a burning question. Would their relentless devotion usher in the miracle they sought, or was there a deeper purpose hidden within this sacred journey? The vibrant glow of the candles danced with life, casting flickering shadows as they awaited the next chapter, an unfolding mystery of divine intervention. The days passed, each one marked by the rituals of prayer, love, and shared meals. The community gathered often, their bond ever deepening like roots intertwining beneath the earth. But still, doubt lurked desperately in the corners of Sarah's heart. What if the miracle they yearned for was never meant to manifest? As dusk painted the sky with strokes of pink and gold, Sarah prepared for another evening gathering. She braided her hair, a simple ritual offering focus amidst the chaos. What began as heavy thoughts began to shimmer with possibility. In truth, every gathering filled her heart with a bubbling joy, a sense of unity that wrapped around her like a warm blanket. In the church, a chorus of voices rose in melodic harmony. Each note a prayer, each harmony a testament to collective belief. Sarah felt the vibrations pulse through her, igniting flickers of gratitude deep within her. "We are stronger together," she whispered with fervor, each voice a beacon of hope. Father Michael stood at the altar, eyes gleaming as he watched his flock. "Tonight, we celebrate our unwavering faith," he declared with a voice that rang true against the stone walls. "Let us proclaim our trust in the Lord, for what seems impossible to us is nothing to him." The gathered souls responded with an enthusiastic chorus, their voices echoing back the merest hint of heaven, sending shivers down Sarah's spine. With a profound sense of purpose now igniting her spirit, Sarah stepped forward. "I want to share something," she announced, heart pounding. Murmurs of anticipation swept through the congregation. "Each day, I've felt something shift. Each prayer, each shared encouragement, they are not just acts. They are tangible. My heart feels lighter." Tears glistened in her eyes as she shared the moments of hope that had emerged amidst fear, her children's laughter, the way the sun pierced the gloom on the toughest days, and the warmth of hands clasped together in prayer. "Even in the depths of despair, we flourish," she continued, sensing the resonance of her words among the gathered souls. "The miracle we seek may not just be one single event, maybe it is this: our unity, our relentless devotion to each other and God." A wave of emotion rippled through the room. Thankfulness danced on every face, and Sarah caught a glimpse of her own reflection in the astonished expressions around her. Joy swelled in her heart, overpowering uncertainty like a sun breaking through a clouded sky. She saw it. This was indeed a miracle, the act of loving, sharing, and standing firm in faith. As the candles flickered, casting a warm glow across their faces, Sarah felt the weight of an unseen hand, guiding them decisively towards something greater than themselves. This shared journey was a divine weaving, an intricate tapestry of miracles awaiting them. But just then, a hush fell across the room. A sudden chill swept through, and Sarah's heart raced. The door creaked open, unleashing a figure cloaked in shadows. It was James, his face pale but eyes alight with a certain brilliance. "I've received a word," he exclaimed, breathless with anticipation. "A transformation awaits us all." And as the congregation leaned in closer, hearts racing with curiosity and anticipation, a shiver of divine mystery lingered in the air. What powerful revelation awaited them in the days to come? James stood there, catching his breath, the light from the candles flickering against the shadows that clung to him. His face held a mix of excitement and trepidation, like a man who stood on the threshold of revelation. "I was given a vision," he began, his voice steadying as he felt the weight of their collective gaze. "A vision of healing, of renewal for our community." Whispers flitted through the congregation, carrying disbelief and wonder, mingling like the scents of incense that lingered in the air. Sarah felt her pulse quicken. Healing? It felt like a distant dream, yet here it was, gracing their presence like a dew-kissed morning. "Imagine," James continued, gesturing with fervor, "a time when our hearts will be unburdened, when sickness and sorrow will find no foothold among us. We've all suffered losses, loved ones, dreams left behind. But this is our moment, a divine opportunity to step into a new reality." Father Michael stepped closer to James, a guiding mentor in a moment stretching into eternity. "How do we reach this promise?" he inquired, his voice hushed but filled with authority. "How do we embrace this transformation?" The room held its breath, hanging on to every word like hungry souls longing for bread. James looked into the eyes of each person, a softening warmth spreading through him. "Through faith," he whispered, his voice now a sacred confession. "A journey of 40 days, a period of intense prayer, reflection, and devotion. We will seek God relentlessly, relinquishing our burdens, and asking for His miraculous touch." A collective gasp rippled through the believers, and Sarah felt a heat surge in her chest. Could this indeed be the answer she had yearned for? Could faith so brightly lit revive not just the individuals but their whole community? "Each day," James added, "we will gather to cast our cares, share our struggles, and encourage one another to boldly expect miracles. This is not merely for us alone but for all who are lost and broken, to step into the wholeness God wishes for us." A spirit of anticipation filled the air, electric and alive. All around her, Sarah could sense hearts quickening, imaginations awakening. Hope felt like a tangible thread weaving them closer, binding stories together into one grand narrative. Father Michael nodded, his heart swelling with purpose. "Let us prepare our hearts," he said, raising his hands as if inviting heaven to descend. "Embrace this journey with open arms. As we walk together these 40 days, let us not waver in our devotion. For when we open ourselves, we may just find God awaiting us with surprises beyond our dreams." Applause broke out, a symphony of hope that echoed in the hollow stone walls, and Sarah felt tears well in her eyes. Would they really begin this journey? Was transformation on their horizon? Yes, she believed. Her heart soared with the thought. As the congregation dove into prayer, voices intermingling like threads of silk, Sarah closed her eyes. A vision unfolded: her children healed, their laughter filling the air, their lives brimming with joy. It was her turn to step into the light, each step a prayer away from doubt. But just when clarity gathered around them, a sudden wind rushed through the open door, extinguishing the candles and plunging the room into darkness. Gasps filled the air, and something powerful stirred, brushing against their spirits. Before they could speak, a voice, deep and resonant, echoed through the silence. "Prepare your hearts, for the heavens are opening." And there, in that breathless moment, questions churned in Sarah's mind. What awaited them as they journeyed deeper into divine uncertainty? What extraordinary gifts were held in the embrace of their faith? The air thickened, charged with an unseen energy that danced among them. Sarah held her breath, her heart a wild drum in the stillness. The voice, so commanding yet soothing, wrapped around her like a warm embrace. What could this mean? As the wind died down, James stepped forward. His presence radiated calm amidst the chaos. "We heard a call," he spoke softly, "a call to awaken." The faces of the congregation were illuminated by a flickering candlelight, their expressions revealing a blend of hope and apprehension. James continued, "Do not fear the darkness. It is merely a passage to the light that awaits us." Around them, the shadows seemed to dance as if in agreement. Sarah felt an overwhelming sense of urgency rise within her. What if this is the moment we have been waiting for? She wondered. What if God is preparing to unveil something glorious? "Tonight," James declared, "marks the beginning of our 40-day journey, but we must be willing to venture into the wilderness of our hearts. There is more to surrender than meets the eye." Father Michael nodded, his eyes deep pools of wisdom. "We must delve into our deepest fears, insecurities, and burdens. Only through confronting these can we truly embrace the healing that lies ahead. Let each of us allow the Holy Spirit to flicker like this candlelight within us." A few murmurs of agreement rippled through the congregation, but others held back, uncertainty clouding their faces. "I don't know if I can face my past," whispered a young woman in the back, her voice trembling. "Let us hold each other in prayer," James urged, his tone urgent yet gentle. "No one is alone in this. We are embarking on a collective pilgrimage. Together, we will lift each other's burdens before God. Let each day be a step deeper into His healing love." As he spoke, Sarah felt a kinship with those around her. Pain bound them. Dreams had been buried. But faith was now lighting the way. In that moment, the candlelight flickered back to life, transforming the shadows into gentle silhouettes. A sense of peace descended, washing over the room like a warm tide. They were not just a group of individuals, but a tapestry woven from shared trials, stitched together by hope. The resonance of the voice still echoed in Sarah's heart. "Prepare your hearts." It lingered like a promise, igniting the fires of anticipation. She glanced at her neighbors, eyes wide with wonder, and felt the stirring of unity as they all nodded in agreement. They were ready to engage. "Let us share our burdens now," Father Michael suggested, his voice a beacon through the stillness. "What is it that weighs heavily on your heart? What do you wish to yield to God? Speak your sorrows, and let us pray for one another." One by one, tears flowed as they unburdened their souls. The stories were raw and real, each echoing through the stone walls. Illness, grief, fear of the future. The air thickened with emotion, but hope ignited with each prayer offered. Sarah felt the darkness of her heart lightening. "I lay down my fears of not being enough," she whispered, words tumbling forth with raw honesty. Relief washed over her, shoulders loosening, heart unfurling. The collective prayer rose like a fragrance ascending toward the heavens, creating a sanctuary of vulnerability and grace. But just as they found solace, a sudden flash illuminated the room, a vivid light breaking through the darkness. "What's happening?" someone gasped. The voice boomed again, powerful yet loving, mixing awe with anticipation. "Trust in the unfolding of what is to come, for I will work wonders through you." Sarah's heart raced. What wonders awaited them? What divine surprises were woven into their path? The question hung heavy in the air, electrifying with promise, helping them realize their journey had only just begun. What awaited them next in the light of faith? The light enveloped them, warm and radiant, filling every corner of the chapel with an almost tangible presence. Sarah felt a stirring deep within her, as if the very air had transformed into a sacred embrace. The flickering candles cast dancing shadows, but no longer did they seem ominous, they shimmered with life, a divine artistry in motion. "What is a wonder?" James asked, his voice steady and soothing, as if he were guiding them through an unfathomable mystery. "Is it a miracle? A change in our hearts? Or perhaps it is the realization of our true selves unveiled?" The congregation sat in rapt attention, their eyes wide, filled with both curiosity and reverence. The walls, once mere marble, now felt like they could whisper secrets of ancient depths. Father Michael closed his eyes, breathing deeply as if he were inhaling the presence surrounding them. "Wonders often come in the simplest forms," he said, his voice calm yet echoing with conviction. "A child's laughter, the comfort of a friend, or perhaps the courage found in shared vulnerability. Tonight, we dare to seek these wonders. Let us open our hearts wider." A soft murmur of agreement ran through the room. The heaviness of past troubles began to lift like morning fog under the sun. Sarah felt her own burdens ease as she gazed around at the faces softened by the candlelight. Their twinkling reflections mirrored the hope growing in her heart. "Who will share their journey first?" James prompted, glancing into the crowd. There was a moment of hesitation as eyes looked down, feet shuffled. But then a gentle hand raised. It was the young woman who had voiced her fear earlier. "I am afraid," she started, her voice wavering, yet strong. "Afraid of stepping into the light, afraid of what lies within. But I want to find healing." As she shared her troubles, the weight of pain poured forth, drawing lines of empathy across the congregation's faces. When she finished, there was no silence. Instead, a ripple of affirmations followed, hands reaching out to encourage and comfort her, a chorus of love intertwined in a mission for healing. "Together, we carry each other's burdens," Father Michael reminded them, his eyes sparkling with purpose. "Let us pray for her, and in doing so, also pray for ourselves." The warmth of prayers filled the air like incense rising. Sarah felt a fine mist of hope settling on her, softening old scars she thought were too deep to heal. She closed her eyes, feeling the heartbeat of her community, their shared struggles intertwining like threads in a rich tapestry. Then, amid the prayers, another voice interrupted, low yet commanding. "Do you not see that this healing is already happening?" Everyone turned to the source, a figure beside the flickering light, grand and warm, face radiant as if kissed by the stars. Gasps filled the chapel, their eyes drawn to the vision. "We are not merely seekers," the voice continued, its resonance echoing against the stone walls, "but vessels of power. Unlock the grace that lies dormant within you. It is time to step into the identity God envisioned." With these words, Sarah felt a fire ignite in her spirit, a hunger for the divine reality unfolding before them. The radiant figure exuded an unmistakable call to rise, to lean into the possibility of profound transformation. As the reality of those words settled upon them, a gentle wind swept through the chapel, carrying with it a scent of blooming flowers and fresh earth. It was a reminder of renewal, an invitation to shed the old and embrace the new. "Let your hearts remember this moment," James urged softly, "for it holds the promise of shift and growth. As we step into these 40 days, let us awaken to the miraculous within." Sarah smiled, her heart swelling with gratitude. In refusing to shy away from their fears, they had stumbled into the light, a space where healing penetrated deep into their beings. Yet, just as the light of hope seemed brightest, a sudden stillness enveloped the room, an expectation lingering that hinted at something yet to come. What lies on the horizon of our journey? Sarah pondered, the excitement swirling within her as she felt divine anticipation knot in her stomach. The glow around them brightened, and she knew the next step would reveal even greater things. What renewed miracles awaited in the next chapter of their faith-filled transformation? The air crackled with anticipation as the light enveloped them even more, pulsing with a rhythm that felt alive. Sarah could sense something shifting, an invisible barrier separating them from the truths about to unfold. The radiant figure remained, as if waiting for their readiness. Embrace the journey, the voice resonated again, melodic yet commanding. For in these 40 days, your spirits are primed for awakening. Step forward, and let the layers that bind you be unraveled. A gentle nudge from within filled Sarah's heart. Was it fear pushing against her, or was it something divine urging her? Suddenly, Father Michael raised his hand, signaling for silence. With a composed yet fervent urge, he stepped closer to the light. Let us not forget the promise of community, he said, glancing around the room. What if your sharing, your true selves unveiled, holds the key to unlocking not just your healing, but that of others? We are stronger together. One by one, members of the congregation began to rise, shaking off the dust of their pasts, allowing vulnerability to flow freely. A middle-aged man stepped forward, his hands trembling but eyes set with determination. I have hidden my struggles too long, he confessed, voice cracking under the weight of emotion. Addiction wrapped itself around my heart like a vice. But tonight, I stand here to shed that identity. May this light free me. As he spoke, tears flowed freely, cascading down his cheeks like rivers desperately searching for the ocean. The congregation's hearts resonated with his pain, a powerful wave of empathy surged, filling the chapel with warmth. You are not alone. Someone shouted, breaking the emotional barrier, a wave of support sweeping across the room. The air thickened with prayers as hands reached out, connecting friends and strangers alike. Sarah felt drawn to the man, seeing her own struggles reflected in his honesty. She joined the growing circle, arms entwined, a sacred bond forming in shared vulnerability. Another voice rose gently, a young woman stepping forward with a smile. I, too, want to shed burdens. Fear has held me captive, she said, her steadiness a beacon of trust. Tonight, I choose courage. With every confession, Sarah's heart swelled. They were not just standing on their own. Each declaration of defeat became a note in a harmonious song of healing. It felt as if the walls themselves shivered in response, aligning with every truth spoken. Suddenly, the radiant figure pulsated brighter still, igniting an energy that surged through the congregation. You see? The miracles are not found only in the dramatic, it spoke, a soft authority laced within. Transformation takes root where the heart is willing, and tonight, you have begun the beautiful process. A rush swept through Sarah, igniting her senses. It was as if she could touch the very essence of hope. She closed her eyes, embracing the moment not for what it had been but for what it was becoming. Release what you don't need any longer, the figure whispered, encouragingly. You are entering a sanctified space, a sacred adventure to rediscover divine identity. As they bowed their heads in collective prayer, a startling grace consumed the room. Sarah's breath caught in her chest, the love filling her was too immense to grasp. She felt the burdens of her past start to lift, not in an overwhelming life-changing moment, but in wisps and whispers, a gradual unfolding reminiscent of spring. Just then, a voice within her whispered back, "Is this what true community looks like? Are we not all interconnected in our healing?" With her heart awakened to this profound reality, she realized something: the journey was far from over. The light was merely setting the foundation for something extraordinary. What awaits us beyond this moment? She thought, as the chapel hummed with divine energy, eager to reveal the next phase of their transformation. Would they embrace the miraculous that lay in wait? The atmosphere shifted as the congregation leaned into the warmth of their shared vulnerability. Sarah felt the pulse of connection coursing through the room like a river, each heart beating in synchrony with the desire to be free. In that sacred space, the light around them shimmered with possibilities, hinting at the miracles they were about to encounter. Father Michael took a deep breath, catching the energy simmering in the air. Tonight, we invite tears and laughter, healing and hope. Here, we unite in faith. Let us rise above the weight of the past together, he encouraged, his voice a steady lighthouse guiding them through the stormy seas of their individual struggles. Eyes around the room glistened, every gaze filled with expectations. People stood shoulder to shoulder, ready to confront the truth. One after another, souls began to release their burdens. A woman stepped forth, visibly shaken yet determined. I have harbored resentment for too long. I release it now. She proclaimed, her voice soaring with newfound strength. I choose love. As these declarations filled the chapel, the radiant figure glimmered, as if celebrating each release. The energy intensified, enveloping them in a cocoon of acceptance and renewal. Sarah witnessed the miraculous unfold. One by one, broken pieces began to mend, souls reclaiming their rightful joy. A young man, tears streaming down his face, closed his eyes tightly, surrendering his struggles to the light. I felt lost, oh so lost. But perhaps, for the first time, I can find my way home, he whispered, vulnerability etched on his features. With each heartfelt utterance, the room became a sanctuary, a place of transfiguration. Symbols of hope drifted within the air, weaving through the congregation. Laughter erupted like melodies, as relief poured from lips, sorrow turned to joy. Exclamations of hallelujah and amen echoed back, creating an uplifting chorus. At that moment, Sarah felt an inexplicable warmth seep through her being. It was an invitation, a whisper of the divine. Open your heart wider, it urged, soft yet unyielding. What lay dormant within her claws loosened, clawing at the edges of what she had long buried. Do I dare to hope? She reflected. Can I truly embrace my journey? The questions blossomed like flowers, pulsating with potential. The radiant figure shifted, and a profound stillness washed over them. It is through surrender that new life will flourish, it spoke again, resonating deep within each spirit present. Release who you thought you were, and allow the light to illuminate who you truly are. The old chains will loosen, the past will not keep you bound. As Sarah listened, her interwoven burdens loosened, shaking off the dust of fear and shame. A tear rolled down her cheek, warm with the elixir of freedom. It was not just her own healing, she realized the divinity of their shared experience, the beautiful clash of the old and the new. A reminder of their interconnectedness surged through her, no act of healing was solitary. We are one body in this moment, she mused, eyes darting to each member around her, voices filled with sincerity and strength. Then, laughter erupted from a corner, one that resonated with hope, interrupting the sacred silence. A woman clutched her stomach, unable to contain her mirth, drawing smiles from the grieving and joyous alike. Can we choose laughter as our medicine too? She joyfully proclaimed, her eyes sparkling. The congregation burst forth in laughter, mingling sorrow with joy, a heavenly sound that resonated through walls. In their lightheartedness, they unearthed joy in the ashes, a proclamation of unyielding faith emerged amidst their shouts. But just as the light reached a crescendo, the figure turned and bestowed a question into their hearts. What would you be willing to sacrifice in order to embrace the fullness of the light within? As silence blankets the room once more, uncertainty tangled with eagerness painted each face. A stillness enveloped them, awakening dormant desires and fears alike. Will we truly follow the sacred path? Sarah pondered, feeling an unfurling within her spirit. What awaits in the depths of divine surrender? With hearts brimming with both apprehension and hope, they stood on the cusp of a journey neither anticipated. The silence swept over them like a gentle tide, shifting minds and hearts into a state of deep contemplation. Within this sacred stillness, Sarah could feel the pulse of the moment. It was a thin line, this thread connecting despair to hope. She stood at the precipice, questioning not just her own fears, but the collective fear of everyone gathered around her. Father Michael's voice broke the reverence. Let us not shy away from the answers that God seeks to unveil. Each of us carries a light that longs to shine. But to truly embrace this light, we may need to surrender our past, even the parts we hold dear. His words wrapped around them, fostering an atmosphere heavy with anticipation. One by one, souls emerged once more, stepping into the light. A man with weary eyes spoke, "I've been afraid to forgive. Today, I choose to let go of that fear." The air crackled as if heaven itself had opened to receive his declaration. A ripple of agreement flowed through the crowd. As they heard his truth, they too found pieces of their own untold stories. Yes. Yes. Sarah felt the excitement lift her spirit. She closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the heartbeat of the congregation rise like a melodic hymn. Each soul around her echoed with hope and courage, fortified by the strength of their shared truths. The radiant figure appeared central before the altar, glowing with divine vibrancy. In this space of vulnerability, the divine seeks to bring forth the best in you. The old you must be laid down as you rise anew. Its presence glimmered with promises yet unspoken, an invitation to deeper exploration. As others shared their burdens, offering confessions of guilt, anger, and loneliness, Sarah felt more emboldened. People began to reach out to one another, connecting as though each declaration wove a tapestry of unity. Old grievances faded, and an unmistakable lightness began to fill the room. A gentle woman stood and smiled through her tears. "I used to believe my scars defined me, but now I know they are just the marks of a journey, a testament to resilience." A wave of affirmations washed over the worshippers as they echoed, "Your story matters." Each testimony is a thread being woven into something beautiful, Sarah thought, her heart swelling. Could we be part of producing something new? Amid festivities, a question lingered in the air: what would you give up for the miracle of divine healing? The room felt charged, electric with uncertainty. The radiant being stepped closer, its eyes shimmering with understanding. "Do not cling to that which binds you. Acknowledge your flaws, your hurt, and find solace in the act of release. What burdens do you carry that weigh heavily on your spirit?" In that moment, a profound sense of urgency ignited within the congregation. The weight of their unvoiced struggles became palpable. Some shifted uncomfortably, while others stared into the shadows of their own souls. The sheer rawness of the experience ignited a fierce determination within them. With a sudden burst of energy, Sarah raised her voice. "I release doubt. I've held on to my fears too long." The words escaped like a deep-seated flame kindling hope within her heart. Heads turned, eyes wide, a collective gasp slipped through the air. One by one, others joined her declaration, their voices rising with conviction. "I release shame. I release pain. I release isolation." Each exclamation seemed to unfurl invisible chains, binding one another together in the light. Suddenly, the radiant figure smiled warmly. "Let each sacrifice open a door to light. These are the moments that fuel transformation." As they stood in the presence of newfound liberation, Sarah felt a jolt of divine energy rushing through her. A whisper within urged her to dig deeper. What else do I need to let go of? What more can be discovered? With fresh courage flickering within her, she closed her eyes, wondering what awaited on the other side of surrender. What new possibilities would they uncover? The whispers of the Spirit beckoned them forward, igniting the heart with questions even more unanswered. In the stillness that followed, Sarah's heart raced as the atmosphere thickened around her. Each word of confession and tea just filled the air. It had sparked something deeper, an awakening. She could feel the collective heartbeat of the room, a rhythm steeped in honesty and the desire to be free. Perhaps God was cultivating a garden here, where the seeds of their pain could sprout new beginnings. Sarah opened her eyes, drawn to the radiant figure who stood with arms outstretched, inviting them into a realm of love and healing. Each declaration releases a note of harmony. It sings your truth into existence. The voice danced in the air, lightening the burdened spirit of those present. Around her, eyes brimmed with tears that seemed to wash away the weight of the world. Faces reflected a mixture of vulnerability and resolve, as though an unseen bond had formed among them. They were all connected by shared struggles, yet they looked each other in the eyes with a newfound strength. One young woman, whose chin trembled from emotion, boldly stepped forward. I release my past mistakes. She cried, her voice quivering as it rang with raw courage. I choose to believe I am worthy of love. A profound hush fell, then a wave of understanding sparked in every corner of the room. A chorus erupted in response. Yes. You are worthy. Father Michael, observing the transformation, stepped closer to the altar. What you are witnessing is the manifestation of grace. You are, in your openness, creating a path for healing. Keep asking yourselves, what can I unveil? What shackles am I willing to cast aside? The radiant figure nodded approvingly. With each confession, observe the shackles that dissolve. They are a reflection of your willingness to embrace truth. Sarah felt a fire kindling within her heart, igniting her desire to contribute to this sacred act of healing. Yet, what did she still need to release? The thought gnawed at her childhood fears? The feelings of unworthiness that haunted her? Raising her hand, she spoke again, her voice steadier now. I release the illusion of my inadequacy. The room seemed to tremble with her declaration, awakening deeper truths buried in the soul's present. It became evident that they were all crying out for freedom, for an end to the chains they had dragged through life. In unison, the congregation joined her. We release judgment. We release resentment. We release self-doubt. Each exclamation spun into a tapestry of freedom, threading together hearts strong enough to shoulder tomorrow's burdens. As tension unraveled, the radiant being before them transformed. Light flickered, shifting in colors. It was as if a kaleidoscope had opened, revealing the essence of their unity and strength. In this divine exchange, know that you will be replenished. Those who release shall receive treasures beyond understanding. Sarah felt a warm glow enveloping her. It was the presence of love, fierce and gentle all at once. She wondered, could love indeed be the answer to all that they had laid down? The question hung in the air, intermingling with hope. What were these treasures yet unseen? What awaited beyond the light of their confessions? With hearts open and anticipation brewing, they stood at the threshold of miraculous revelation. Sarah inhaled deeply, knowing they were about to be ushered into a new chapter of divine experience. Each soul was poised at the edge of the unknown, ready to step into the fullness of what God was preparing. What miracles awaited just beyond their hesitations? The essence of divine healing hummed in the air, inviting them forward into deeper discovery. In that moment of collective vulnerability, the atmosphere transformed. The radiant figure glowed brightly, enveloping the entire congregation in a warmth like the gentle embrace of the sun on a spring morning. Sarah felt a wave of energy surge through her, drawing from the depths of her soul. It wasn't just her pain she was laying down, but the burdens and fears of everyone around her. It was a sacrificial exchange, a collective surrender to the light. Miracles come when we open our hearts and step into the unknown, the radiant figure proclaimed, its voice resonating like a soft bell ringing in a silent night. Cast not only your fears but also your doubts, for it is in the act of letting go that you make room for my love. One by one, they rose with trembling spirits, a symphony of healing in action. Their voices intertwined, weaving declarations of surrender into the very fabric of the chapel. I release my history, declared the young woman who had first stepped forward, her voice breaking the air with renewed strength. Around her, heads nodded, the echo of support vibrating in unison. We release the grip of anxiety, cried another, and cheers erupted like a spring waterfall, the air electric with possibility. James stood tall, his eyes ablaze with hope. Every moment of confession isn't merely an act, it is a seed planted in fertile ground, he affirmed, his voice steady and full of urgency. We cultivate the potential for miracles. The congregation felt the truth ring powerfully in their hearts. Sarah's spirit soared as she absorbed this truth. Was this what faith really felt like? A vibrant web of interconnectedness, where each person's surrender played a part in the greater unfolding. It was a revelation, an awakening of the miraculous collective. As they surrendered burdens, Sarah opened her own heart wider. I release the fear of not being enough, she whispered, feeling the chains of perfectionism begin to fall away. An immediate shift filled the room, like a gust of wind breaking through stagnant air. She sensed the tangible power of connection spark and leap among them. Let your hearts rise. The radiant figure encouraged, its brilliance intensifying. What you've lost you will gain back 100-fold. Every wound healed restores not just you but your family and community. Tears streamed down faces, mingling with laughter as everyone began sharing their own touchpoints of healing. Today, I choose joy. Someone exclaimed, and cheers erupted. Tomorrow, I choose gratitude. Filled the chapel. Each declaration escalated the energy, each confession releasing a wave of divine forgiveness. Suddenly, Sarah felt her hand squeeze tightly onto the hand of a stranger now turned friend, a bond forged in shared healing. The room pulsed with a rhythm of hope, of cleansed spirits soaring toward the limitless sky. We are not alone. She breathed, feeling unity in every heartbeat. Open your eyes to the divine gifts that are unfolding, the figure urged again, the love in its voice piercing through doubt. Step forward into the miracle of renewed identity and shared destiny. In that sacred moment, as the light illuminated their path, they felt the soft flutter of something new beginning within. The church walls seemed to expand, filled with the aroma of miracle, hearts collectively awakened to the experience of divine promise. The past began to feel distant, dissolved like mist under the rising sun. It's time. James announced, his voice resounding powerfully. With faith as their compass, they stood at the threshold of transformation, ready to embrace every new day with unwavering trust. Sarah's heart thundered in her chest. What awaits us now? She pondered. The room, alive and vibrating with energy, welcomed the next chapter of their journey. Would they step boldly into this canvas painted by divine hands? In brilliant harmony, the congregation whispered their answers, yes. Yes, we will embrace the healing that is already here. And in that glorious declaration, they surrendered fully and completely, opening the door to miracles like never before. Now is the time for you to take part in divine stories. Don't wait even one more second to share this powerful message. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help brighten someone else's journey. Comment below your own reactions and testimonies about this story's impact on your faith. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation. Together, let us spread the light like wildfire. Only true servants of God understand the importance of supporting this mission.